Guys, welcome back to the Build Not Bought channel, where we are undertaking this mammoth task of rebuilding this 1996 GQ Patrol with an original and very rare tub. In last week's episode, we did a bunch more wiring and a little few odds and ends to try and get the thing finished to start it. And we did start the engine for the first time, which was a huge milestone. But over the weekend, I discovered something. There was a problem, a massive problem. Hello. Hello. That's a rude shock. Also, this is a rude shock. I did get a haircut and also have a lifter that is not pumping up properly and collapsed. So that is what you get. Just for a quick explanation before we get into this video of why we're not driving around, Limmy bashing, all that good stuff, is because we have some lifters to replace. Now, this was my fault because when we rebuilt the motor, freshened it up, it's obviously kind of a stock bottom end, but I've done valve springs, we did trunnion upgrade, didn't change the lifters. Kind of regret that now. We're about to rip the heads off and change them out, so you'll probably see that in next week's episode, but that is just a little update of why we're not really driving it in this one. So let's wind the clock back and rip into this week's video. Alright guys, welcome back to me living the greatest job in the universe ever. We're here wiring. Now, fun fact, I was an electrical engineer back in my day, mate. I went to university, and what you're looking at is almost the finished product. And the reason it looks like a mess is because this mess would have been on the other side of the engine bay. So what we've done, I haven't really bothered filming much of this because it's absolutely boring, but now that it's done, I can talk you through it. So we've got our coil packs behind the firewall here, the ECU's behind here, and we pulled a lot of the ECU cabling that normally would be on the outside. We've pulled that inside, and even with a few sensors and stuff as well. So we've really tried to minimize what's in the engine bay. In a previous episode, Mitch talked about the button start. So that all got wired in, like little immobilizer, alarm, bloody wireless buttons to get in and out of the thing and start it. That's all been wired in. We got some new indicator and wiper stalks, wired them in. So we've got pretty much the hot rod harness, which is real standalone, and got all the Patrol stuff to work in with it. So the basic setup is pretty much a master ignition on, which doesn't need to be there, but for a car that's not driven all the time, it's just a way to cut the power so nothing drains when it's sitting for a while. Then it goes into your key, which activates the immobilizer. Then you can hit ignition, which activates the big relay for the whole ignition circuit. That will activate the ECU, fuel pump turns on, headlights and all that work. And that is the majority of a car wired. So we're gonna run with that, see what fuses blow and whatnot, but so far everything's working. Just a little update for you on the wiring. It's nearly at the point where the dash can go in, so I thought I'd film this before that happens, so you can see the mess of wires behind here. We'll try to tidy it up as best we can. I think Mitch just bought a car. I heard the trailer leave, and I think he's arrived with something. I'm not sure what it is, so we'll go have a look at that.
I've got a little surprise for you, Sam. Why is it purple? I've got a surprise for you. I bought Harold, the dinosaur. Barney, is that Barney?
Barney.
All right, no, Harold's the giraffe. Now, the reason why, so I can justify it to Sam, is we needed a couple plugs off the engine loom and a gearbox tunnel. So I bought a whole car. I thought that was a great idea. It was only 500 bucks, picked it up off Marketplace. So yeah, she's had a bit of a bingle. Whole front end's been caved in. No diff centers. TD42 blew up. Surprise, surprise. It's got an immaculate dash, like not a crack in the dash. It's actually pretty good. 500,000 Ks on her.
So if anyone wants what, doors, dash?
Doors, dash, cab, rust cuts.
Chassis, I guess?
Chassis, yeah, you can just DM me and I'll probably just sell it to you for nothing. But yeah, that's Dorothy.
Yeah, look, much to my disgust, there was another GQ Patrol here. They seem to be breeding around here. Someone please come and buy it off us.
Yeah, so Dorothy was kind enough to give me the ends of the harness that we needed, and then this little gearbox rubber tunnel thing, and a few other little things that we needed from her. You know, there's hard parts to find. Everyone just
hard to find.
Super hard to find GQ parts. Everyone just throws away this weird shit because they don't think anyone would need it, and normally no one would except me. So that's why we had to buy a whole car. Also, on the fact of wiring, you may see how we got coil packs and shit there. We're actually not running aircon, much to my disgust. But if you have a look at the engine bay, it's physically impossible to fit an aircon condenser because they usually sit up here. So on the Marks, they usually sit up here, alternator sits over here. We couldn't do that because of our gates, our manifolds, all that stuff. So we literally cannot, and they don't go in the factory location either. There's no room down there. Am I pretty lit up right now?
It looks kind of shit.
I'm lit up because of this new SP torch that we've got, guys.
They're really good.
They're actually unreal.
They got
Yeah, they're magnetic. Check this out. Oh, can't see that.
Can we put it somewhere where it's gonna work now?
Yeah, okay. Right guys, so wiring is pretty much done in the cab. So I'm gonna start cutting out the carpet to put it in. I'm not gonna put it in finally now, but I'm gonna put in a carpet. Now, a lot of brands like the one we use for the Hilux, they do a carpet kit, but they're actually so bad. It didn't fit at all. It was a horrible carpet kit.
Rhymes with true shit.
Yeah, it rhymes with true shit. So instead, I'm getting a carpet that isn't made to fit at all, but it'll still do an even better job.
Mitch and I were talking about this the other day, that car builders don't have a single product that's bad. Their scissors, their knives, everything on their shelf is awesome, and this is no different.
Their Stanley knives they send with the kit are good. Their scissors are good. Like, everything is just good. So this is a carpet from Car Builders. It's 4-way stretch, which is really cool. It means you can mold it all, and even if you do have a little bit of a mistake, you can still push it into that corner because it's so stretchy.
So this made installation super easy. When you have a really good product, it comes out with a really good result. So we're able to do a side each, starting with the driver's side, then finishing with the passenger side. It made the car look so much cleaner. The next morning, it was time to continue installing the interior. In a previous episode, Mitch had reconditioned the dash. It was finally time to put it in now that wiring was completed.
All right guys, now the dash is in, we're gonna move on to debatably one of the most exciting parts of the interior, and that is the Haltech UC10. Now this is a 10-inch display. It's pretty much the original size of the GQ dash, which I think is so sick. We're gonna make up some brackets, pick up the bolt holes off the back of this, and then slap it behind the surround, and then we'll make some infills to suit the rest of it so it all fills it in really nicely.
Thanks to Haltech for partnering with this build. We're using the UC10 dash. They're incredibly expensive, but for good reason. Completely customizable and can show any sensor on your motor live on the dash. Mitch has come up with a way to mount this thing. We're actually going to mount it to the frame of the dash itself and then put the surround around it. They'll be sitting separately, but it will give the most accurate finish to get it sitting on the correct angle. And just like that, the dash is in and working. Doesn't it look great? Oh, Mitch is sorting out some dash stuff. We've moved the car over to the hoist area so we can finally get up on the hoist. There's a few things we were waiting on till it was up in the air, so we're gonna go underneath and just P-clamp everything, tighten everything. Fluids can go in, gearbox oil, transmission oil, diff oil, coolant, all of that good stuff. And then while it's up there, I can actually finish the back half of the exhaust as well. So give you guys a bit of an idea of how much work goes into something like this and you don't see on camera. All the little marks that don't have a hash next to them aren't even being filmed. So there's a ton of stuff that we're doing behind the scenes, and we just don't want to bore you guys with, like, I don't know, installing a tail light or wiring up the grille light. Gearbox and transfer oil is a filmable thing, so let's do that. And the exhaust system. That's right guys, over the past 10 years of building cars, I can assure you that I've worked out it takes probably 3 times longer to build a car when you're filming it. So I'd appreciate it if you guys could smash that subscribe button, join the Build Not Bought family to help support these videos. Whoa! Axle shrunk. Quick little introduction, this is Trip for a couple of reasons. Number one, you always trip over the thing, and 2, he's an absolute tripper, absolute personality, this thing. And it's kind of mine and my partner's dog, but I mean, it's hers, but I've always wanted a Pomeranian. So this is a little Pomeranian, but now I have a reason to have one that's not weird because I'm not just like a single male with a Pomeranian. It makes sense when you're in a relationship. Hi Axel, they're best buds, yeah, and then there's Panda. Look at them all. So yeah.
Family.
Little family. I remember when you were a little baby. Flashback to the photo of me holding Axel in one hand with a spanner. Look at you now. Anyway, there is a ton of stuff to do on this list, so let's smash them out. Guys, not sure where we're at. I think we've got a bunch of little odd jobs done, but I'm going to move on to exhaust. So we filmed this a couple of episodes ago doing the little dump pipes. I said I'd probably spend a week doing exhaust. We're probably on day 3/4 and we've only made it to here. Today's mission, I will film this bit. It is doing the crossover. So what we're using is, I think it's a 406 or 409 grade stainless. Now I use stainless for exhaust because a lot of guys use mild steel, which is fine, but you get rust but with stainless, you don't get rust, you get corrosion. It still happens, but it's not as bad. And it also means you can do these things called V-bands. Now, V-bands are essentially a way to join two pieces of exhaust together, but it's got a complete seal the whole way around and a ring that clamps it together. Whereas if you use mild steel, you have to use a flange join with 2 or 3 nuts and it doesn't get as good of a seal. So we've got a bunch of bends. You can buy these from Ben Brothers, same with the V-bands. EcoFlow sell them as well. There's a few different places. You can buy these. You can. These you can buy from such places as MitchFarrell.com. All right, he made this up. Now what that is a little wire piece that comes into here. So essentially, I don't know how we're going to show this. It's hard to show on camera. So another thing we're using is flex joins. Now from kind of this point up, the whole dump pipe exhaust is rigid to the motor, and we're putting a couple of mounts to their heads to hold that. After this point, there's 2 flex joins, one each side, and the whole exhaust becomes floating on rubbers and mounts from there on, so it can move around independent to the engine. So with this little piece that Mitch made, the Marks adapters bell housing has a little cutout for exhaust, and we're planning to go down there, a little 45, a bit of straight there, and then up to a 45 piece here. It was time to get back onto the welder. A lot of planning and laying out and measuring comes in when you're doing stainless exhaust. Now, I'd probably gone through 2 bottles of gas by this point off camera, so it was finally time to show you guys a little bit of exhaust building and what goes into building a stainless system. Guys, let's quickly interrupt this episode. We've just had a power cut, and why do you think I'm working? Because of my EcoFlow. So we obviously use this stuff in all the builds and the 4 drives now, and this is one of the reasons why it is super portable to the point where it can run my office. We've got the computer, the screen, even the neon signs all hooked up, and it's completely running. We've still got 10 hours running like this, so I can keep editing while the power's out until Energex sorts their shit out. If you want to go grab them, there'll be a link down below, or the QR code here. A few different options to suit your vehicle or anything portable, fridges, air cons, battery systems. They got the lot. Go check them out. Righty, it was time to get back on the exhaust. We had done a bunch of tacks to confirm the fitment. It was time to weld it out fully. Alright guys, so I did the unthinkable yesterday and I put a story up asking for welding advice. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that? Oh my God, you need to add more heat, you need less heat, you need more gas, you need less gas, you need a bigger cup, you need a smaller cup, you need to go faster, you need to go slower. Pretty standard. It's funny though, the amount of people who are actually professional welders, I'm surprised the market's not flooded, to be honest, anyway. So me, bush mechanic, welding, if it joins, it sticks, it's good for me. But you know, you get into this groove, you want a little bit of color, and then you start, it's an addictive thing, you want your welds to be better. So the advice that I got from the right people did help. So this is that little crossover piece. The good thing about all this welding from here on, it's pretty much under the car, you're not even really gonna see it. So my worst welding I've done so far on this GQ is the thing that you can see. So how good is that? We probably should have started at the back and come forward. Anyway, little screamer pipe here, that's gonna be put back into the exhaust. So what we're gonna do now, put this back under the car, our little jig up measurements, we've fully welded the bit I'm confident with, and then we guesstimated a bit of length here, and we'll see if that matches up to Mitch's special little cutout off the crossover. Once that's in, that's fully complete, and the next section of the exhaust is done. That's where we're at. Let's see what Mitch is doing. So I think he was sorting out the bracket for the exhaust. Oi, put this on. What are you doing?
I want to die. The bracket for the exhaust is just fighting me. I'll show you guys.
It's sucking the life out of you.
Oh, I want to die. Right, so essentially, we need to build a bracket off the dump to the motor to brace it all so it doesn't crack and snap. Now, I'll just put this dump pipe in real quick. It's super easy to throw it in. Watch this. Oh wow, yeah, so you only have to do 2 rotations clockwise, 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and then 2 rotations clockwise again. Skim the brake master, delete the clutch cylinder. So every bracket that I've built has been hitting everything on the way out because there's no room. So I've gone through 3 renditions of brackets now, and it's still not working. So I've got to go back to the drawing board and try and find somewhere else I can brace it off because the back of the head just isn't gonna work.
Okay, so Mitch was really having one of those days today, fighting with this side of the exhaust for the bracket. It was just super tight and so many things were in the way to make it work. Okay guys, so Mitch was absolutely tearing his hair out with this one, but the mounts are on, and we've also done the screamers too. So you can see down here, there's one of the mounts off the back of the head. So the exhaust is supported on both sides. It was just super hard to get in there to be able to undo the bolt and all that. Anyway, that's done. Also tigged up the screamers, so they're all fully welded on both sides. We are plumbing it back for legal reasons. We want to keep this thing 100% street legal. So they're done. The exhaust is pretty much finished to the wire piece where it joins up, and I can kind of leave that now and then build the rest of it and be happy with it. So this is all fixed now, but you can probably notice we currently have the valve covers off. So like at the start of the episode, we do have this lifter that's collapsed, and the number one on this one is kind of pumping up half the time. So that's something we look forward to in next week's episode. We'll rip these off, get the new lifters in, and finally, we should be able to go for the first drive. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.